We're still staying in our wall frog position. Remember, you can come to static back or hook lying or flexion abdominals position if you need a break in the lower body from this position of external rotation and supination of the foot. Next up, we're going to come to pullovers, which I really love for my shoulders. And we've been already talking a lot about the fact that the rib cage needs to stay grounded, and this is really important in this next exercise. So you will very much notice that your rib cage will probably want to lift up. It's very rare that I come across anybody where their rib cage doesn't want to flare up in this one. So this is definitely about making sure that you are working within the limits of what your rib cage is telling you that it can do. If the rib cage is popping up and down, you have gone too far. You're not moving your shoulders, you're moving your rib cage, which is different, okay? So it kind of sounds obvious when you say it, but I know how often I have to repeat myself with these things. So the palms of the hands are gripping each other, and you're going to deeply interlink your fingers, and you're going to notice that you've got one thumb probably over the other. We're going to swap that halfway through. Your arms are going to be in front of your, directly in front of your shoulders like this, facing up to the ceiling. And you'll notice that as you sort of push your arms up to the ceiling and keep your elbows straight, that your shoulders then like pop up off the floor. So my shoulders are kind of rounding away. So I want to do this like funny thing where I'm sort of pulling back with the shoulders so that they're not lifted up away from the floor. And it's a similar movement to what I was doing before. So I'm sort of pulling my shoulder blades back and down behind me without popping up the rib cage, but at the same time I'm stretching my arms upwards. So it's like I've got this downward force from the shoulder blade, upward force from the hands. So you're not just pushing up with your hands and allowing the shoulders to pop up like this. We're sort of scooching the shoulder blades back and down behind and keeping them in that engaged position that we just did. It's also really worth trying to keep the shoulders away from the ears. So for me, as soon as I do that, my shoulders want to lift up by my ears. I have to use the muscles kind of here to pull the shoulder blades back and down behind me. And keeping the work going in the feet, keeping the palms of the hands together. So a little bit like the rib cage cheating, you'll probably notice that the palms of your hands want to come apart and cheat as well. Really firmly keep the base of the thumbs together throughout. Shoulders stay back and down, rib cage stays grounded, elbows are straight, and the hinge point here is your shoulders, not the rib cage flaring up and down, not the elbows bending, and not the wrists and the hands kind of breaking and coming apart. So we are really nice and slowly taking our arms back behind us, and we are aiming towards the floor, but we are listening to the rib cage and feeling for the rib cage. So we're only coming as far as our rib cage allows us before it starts wanting to lift. And if you've noticed that you're trying to touch the floor and the rib cage is shot up like that, then you've gone too far. You don't have that capacity yet. Keep the rib cage grounded, focusing on that more. And it might be that you can only sort of move with this range of movement, and that is going to be more beneficial for you than trying to get your hands down to the floor if the rib cage is lifting. So, rib cage stays grounded, arms stay as straight as they can, and the shoulders pull back and down away from the ears. The hands are tightly together. Arms are rigid, and the hinge point is the shoulder, not we're trying to get our hands to the floor, because then we'll bend our elbows or we'll bend our wrists or make our hands floppy. The aim here in your mind is really that you're trying to get your upper arm towards the floor, because if you're aiming for your upper arm, you're going to be really opening the shoulder up, rather than if you're thinking about your hand, you're going to just like touch the floor with the hand, and we're not opening up this like tension through the sort of armpit. So this is really what we're sort of working on here, is opening up the shoulder. Listen to your rib cage. We're going to do 2 sets of 15, have a break after the first set and swap the hand rotation round just to make sure that we're even. Try and keep the back of your neck long so we're not tilting our head backwards and scrunching up in our neck. Feet squeezed together, rib cage grounded, off we go. Upper arms are the thing that move towards the ground, not the hands. So you're not aiming for your hands to touch the ground, you're aiming for your upper arms to touch the ground, still trying to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. 1. Move within your range of movement. You might not be anywhere near to the ground, and that's fine. 2. 3. 4. Is your rib cage grounded? Is the palm of your hand still together? Are you still squeezing your feet? 5, 6. Nice and slowly and with control. You're controlling the up and down movement. You're not just letting it flop down to the floor. 7, 8. Is the back of your neck long? Tucking that chin in so you've got a bit of a double chin. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Quick little break in between. So making sure I might just scooch a little bit closer to the wall now. I feel like my hips have changed enough that I can do that. Soles of feet squeezed together, rib cage stays grounded. I'm changing the interlinking of my thumbs this time round. So I'm putting my left thumb slightly on top. Palms of the hands stay together. I'm keeping my arms as straight as I can. I'm pulling my shoulders back and down behind, away from my ears so they don't fly out around the ears. And I'm only moving as far as my rib cage and my hands allow me to. So I don't want the hands coming apart. We're aiming for the upper arms to touch the floor. 1, 2, 3. Keep the neck long. I keep wanting to tilt my back. Belly relaxed. Maintaining calm, deep, diaphragmatic, nasal breathing. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Oh, my counting's going a bit weird. 14, 15. Okay, brilliant. We are going to finish with wall frog arm glide.